Jake Morrison stood at the center of the Great Hall on Nexus Prime Station. The massive room was filled with creatures from hundreds of worlds. Some had tentacles that moved like snakes. Others glowed with bright colors that hurt human eyes. A few looked almost like giant insects with wings that buzzed softly. But they all had one thing in common. They all looked down on humans. Jake had been Earth's main speaker for 10 years. He had sat through thousands of meetings. He had listened to alien voices tell him what humans could and could not do. He had watched as every human request was denied. Every human colony was told to move. Every human trade deal was rejected. Today was different. Today Jake was done with their games. The Vorthic speaker raised his 7 arms high. His voice boomed through the hall like thunder. The human request for mining rights in the Outer Rim is denied. These worlds belong to the ancient races. Humans are too young to understand such responsibility. Jake felt his jaw tighten. The Outer Rim worlds had rare metals that Earth needed badly. Without them, human ships would become slower. Human cities would lack power. Human dreams of reaching new stars would die. Behind the Vorthic, the crystal beings called Etherians pulsed with blue light. Their leader spoke in a voice like breaking glass. We agree. Humans have been in space for only 100 years. We have traveled the stars for 10,000. This vote is final. The vote began. One by one, the alien races voted against humanity. Jake watched the numbers climb. 847 votes against, 1 vote for. Only humans voted. For humans, Lisa Carter watched from the viewing area above. She commanded the human ship Aurora. She had seen Jake fight these battles for years. She had watched him stay calm when aliens insulted Earth. She had seen him smile when they treated humans like children. But today, something was different in Jake's eyes. Jake stood up slowly. The hall grew quiet. Even the buzzing wings stopped moving. Every alien eye turned to look at the human who dared to stand when the vote was finished. For 30 years, Jake said, his voice carrying clearly through the hall, humans have followed your rules. We have asked nicely for what we needed. We have accepted your decisions even when they hurt us. We have tried to be good members of your galactic family. A Trilaxian near the front made a sound like laughing. Humans always complain when they do not get their way, like small children. Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. You are right. We have been acting like children. Children who think that being nice and playing fair will make the adults treat them fairly. But we have learned something important today. He turned to look at every section of the Great Hall. We have learned that you will never treat us as equals. You will never give us what we need. You will never stop seeing us as less than you. So we are done trying to convince you otherwise. The Zelani trade master hissed through his breathing. Tubes. What does this mean, Himan? You cannot leave the Galactic Council. No race has ever left. It is not possible. Jake reached into his coat and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button, and his voice was carried to every human ship in the galaxy. This is Ambassador Morrison. Code 77. I repeat, Code 77. All diplomatic personnel return to human space immediately. All trade agreements are canceled. All cultural exchanges are ended. We are coming home. The hall erupted in noise. Alien voices rose in anger and confusion. The Vorthic speaker slammed his arms on his desk. You cannot do this. The Council has authority over all space trade, over all colonial expansion. You will have nothing without us. Jake put the device back in his coat. We will see about that. The United Earth Government withdraws from all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. We will no longer participate in your meetings. We will no longer follow your rules. We will no longer pretend that you care about human welfare. He walked toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the suddenly quiet hall. As he reached the door, he turned back one last time. For 30 years, you have told us that humans are too young, too stupid, too weak to matter in this galaxy. You have taken our help when you needed it, then forgotten us when you did not. You have used our ships, our workers, our ideas, and given us nothing in return. Well, now you can see how well your great civilization works without us. The door slid shut behind him with a soft hiss. Lisa Carter was waiting for him in the corridor. The Aurora is ready to leave, she said. All our people are already aboard. Jake nodded. Good. Send the same message to every human outpost. Every human colony, every human ship. Pack up. We are going home. As they walked toward the docking bay, Lisa asked, Do you think this will work? Do you think they will change their minds? Jake stopped walking. He looked back toward the great hall, where alien voices were still raised in angry debate. I do not know if they will change their minds, but I know something else. We have been so busy trying to prove we belong in their galaxy that we forgot something important. We forgot that we are humans. We forgot that we do not need their permission to be great. The Aurora undocked from Nexus Prime Station 30 minutes later. As it turned toward human space, Jake stood on the bridge and watched the great station grow smaller. Soon, other human ships joined them. Cargo vessels, research ships, passenger transports. One by one, they all turned toward home dock in the Great Hall. The aliens were still arguing. But for the first time in 30 years, they were arguing without any humans to listen. And somehow, that made everything feel very different. 3 months had passed since the humans walked away from the Galactic Council. Dr. Emma Rodriguez sat in her office on the trade station orbiting Kepler Prime, staring at numbers that made no sense. The galactic trade reports on her screen showed something impossible. Commerce between star systems was slowing down. Ships were taking longer to deliver goods. Some trade routes had stopped working completely. Emma had been studying galactic economics for 15 years. She had never seen anything like this. The numbers looked like someone had removed a vital piece from a giant machine. And now the whole thing was breaking down. Her assistant, a young Trilaxian named Kex, brought her another report. The shipping delays are getting worse, he said, his green skin showing patches of worry purple. The Vorthic freighter captains are saying they cannot find replacement parts for their engines. The parts they need were only made in human factories. Emma looked up from her screen. That cannot be right. Humans only controlled 3% of galactic manufacturing. How could losing 3% cause this much trouble? Kex showed her another data pad. That is what we thought too. But look at this list. The humans did not just make parts. They made the special parts that other parts needed to work. They made the tools that other races used to fix their machines. They made the computer programs that ran the factories. On the mining world of Kepler 442b, Administrator Carlos Mendez was packing the last of his personal items. The human mining operation was shutting down today. The Trilaxian government had said they would take over the mines themselves. They thought it would be easy. Carlos walked through the mining complex one last time. The huge machines sat silent now. The conveyor belts that had moved tons of rare metals every day were stopped. The processing plants that had turned raw ore into refined materials were empty. Governor Yilks of the Trilaxian colony met him at the main gate. The alien's confident smile from 3 months ago was gone. Administrator Mendez, perhaps we could discuss terms for some of your people to stay. Just as advisors, of course. Carlos shook his head. Sorry, Governor. All humans are going home. Your people said you could do this better than us anyway. Yes, but we need time to learn your methods. Your extraction rates were much higher than ours. We did not realize how much higher until we studied your equipment. You had 30 years to study our methods, Carlos replied. Your experts always said human mining was crude and inefficient. They said Trilaxian technology was superior. Well, now you can prove it. Governor Yilks watched the last human transport lift off from the mining complex. The next day, Trilaxian workers tried to restart the mining operation. The machines would not turn on. The computer systems were locked with human security codes. The processing plants needed chemicals that only human suppliers made. Within a week, the most productive mining operation in the sector was completely shut down. Admiral Helen Brooks stood on the bridge of the human battleship Colorado as it led a convoy of 3,000 human ships toward Earth. The convoy stretched for millions of kilometers. Cargo ships, research vessels, colony transports, mining, platforms, and factory ships, all moving together in perfect formation. Admiral, her communications officer, reported, "We are receiving requests from 17 different alien governments. They want to know when our ships will return to their space." Helen smiled grimly. "Tell them we will not be returning. All human vessels are going home." The communications officer looked confused. "But Admiral, the Corellian merchant fleet is saying their ships cannot operate without our maintenance crews. The Etherian research stations are reporting equipment failures. The Vorthic military is asking for our shipyard services." "Not our problem anymore," Helen said. "They voted us out of the galaxy, remember? They can figure out how to fix their own ships." Behind the Colorado, Captain Ryan Foster commanded the engineering ship Titan. His crew had spent years building and maintaining the quantum gate network that connected distant star systems. The gates were marvels of technology that let ships travel between stars in hours instead of months. Ryan had quietly improved the gate network over the years. He had replaced old parts with better ones. He had written new software that made the gates work faster and more efficiently. He had trained teams of human technicians who kept the whole system running smoothly. Now those technicians were all going home. "Captain," his chief engineer reported, "we are getting emergency calls from gate stations across the galaxy. 3 gates have already failed completely. 7 more are running at half power. The aliens are saying they need our help." Ryan looked at the star charts showing the gate network. Red warning lights marked the failing gates. "Send them our technical manuals. If they are as smart as they claim, they can figure it out." But Ryan knew something the aliens did not. The technical manuals were written in human mathematical notation. The repair procedures required understanding of human engineering principles. The replacement parts were made to human specifications, using human manufacturing techniques. Without humans, the gate network would slowly fall apart. On the agricultural world of New Eden, Dr. Maria Santos supervised the harvest of the last human-grown crops. The hybrid plants she had developed could grow in soil that killed normal crops. They could survive in harsh weather that destroyed other plants. They could produce food that fed millions of people across dozens of worlds. The local alien governor had ordered the humans to leave, but demanded they leave behind their crops and farming equipment. Maria had agreed to leave the equipment, but she had not mentioned that the hybrid plants would die. Without special fertilizers that only human factories produced. She also had not mentioned that the farming equipment was programmed to work only with human genetic markers. Without human operators, the machines would not function. As her transport ship lifted off, Maria looked down at the green fields that had fed so many people. In a few months, those fields would be barren. The hybrid plants would wither and die. The people who depended on that food would go hungry, but that was not her problem anymore. Back on Nexus Prime Station, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. The great hall that had once echoed with confident alien voices was now filled with worried whispers. Trade Commissioner Valtar read report after report of economic problems spreading across the galaxy. The situation is becoming serious, he announced. Shipping delays are now measured in weeks instead of days. Manufacturing output is down 40%. 7-star systems are reporting food shortages. The quantum gate network is failing faster than our technicians can repair it. The Vorthic representative stood up. This is just a temporary problem. The humans were never that important. We will adapt. We will find new solutions. But even as he spoke, he knew the truth. The humans had not just been participants in galactic civilization. They had been the invisible foundation that held it all together. And now that foundation was gone. The galaxy was starting to crumble, and no one knew how to stop it. 6 months after the humans left, the galaxy was falling apart. Trade Commissioner Elena Vasquez sat in her office on Earth, watching reports from across the stars. Her old job had been to help alien governments understand galactic trade. Now, she watched those same governments struggle to keep their economies alive. The quantum gate network was failing faster every day. Ships that once traveled between star systems in hours now took weeks to reach their destinations. Some routes had stopped working completely. Whole sectors of the galaxy were becoming cut off from the rest of civilization. Elena received a message from her old assistant on Nexus Prime. The young Etherean sounded desperate. "Elena, please help us. The gate to the Rigel system failed yesterday. 15 worlds are now isolated. They have no way to get food or medical supplies. People are going to die." Elena stared at the message for a long time. She remembered the Etherean Council voting against every human proposal for gate network improvements. They had called human engineering methods primitive and wasteful. They had insisted their own crystal-based technology was superior. She deleted the message without replying. On the industrial world of Titan 7, factory supervisor Kevin Adams watched alien workers try to restart the automated manufacturing complex. The facility had produced critical components for ships, stations, and cities across the galaxy. Without these parts, machines everywhere were breaking down. The Vorthic engineers had been trying to understand the factory systems for 3 months. They had torn apart the control computers. They had studied the assembly line designs. They had tested the chemical processes. Nothing worked. "The systems are too complex," the lead Vorthic engineer admitted to Kevin over a video call. "We cannot understand how all the pieces work together. Please, we need your help. We will pay anything." Kevin shook his head. "You told us our factories were too complicated. You said Vorthic industry was more efficient. You said you could do better without human interference. So do better." The Vorthic engineer's tentacles writhed with frustration. "We were wrong. We admit this. But people across the galaxy need these parts. Hospitals need medical equipment. Ships need engine components. Cities need power generators. Then you should have thought of that before you voted to kick us out of the galaxy." Kevin replied and ended the call. The agricultural crisis was spreading faster than anyone had predicted. Dr. Maria Santos monitored the situation from her new laboratory on Mars. The hybrid crops she had developed were dying on dozens of worlds. The special fertilizers they needed were only made in human factories. The farming equipment would not work without human operators. Colony after colony reported food shortages. The Trilaxian breadbasket world of Kepler-4 42b, which had fed 30 systems, now produced barely enough food for its own population. The Corellian merchant fleets that had carried food between worlds were grounded because their ships could not be repaired. Maria received thousands of messages begging for help. Planetary governors offered enormous payments for even small amounts of human-made fertilizer. Desperate farmers asked for copies of her crop genetic codes. Medical officers reported rising malnutrition rates. She ignored them all. When humans had asked for fair trade agreements for their agricultural products, the aliens had refused. When humans had offered to teach improved farming methods, the aliens had said they were not interested. When humans had requested better treatment for their farming colonies, the aliens had voted no. Now the galaxy was starving, and it was not humanity's problem. Captain Ryan Foster was back on Earth, but he still monitored the Quantum Gate network. The system he had helped build and maintain was collapsing. His improvements had increased the network's efficiency by 300%, but all his documentation was written in human mathematical notation that other races could not read. The gate failures were accelerating. What had started as minor malfunctions had become major breakdowns. The aliens were trying to repair the gates using their own technology, but their methods were not compatible with human engineering principles. Ryan watched as another gate went offline. The Zelani trade hub that had connected 8 star systems was now isolated. Trillions of credits worth of goods sat in warehouses with no way to reach their destinations. His communication system beeped with an incoming message. It was from the Galactic Engineering Council, the same organization that had rejected his proposals for gate network upgrades just 8 months ago. Captain Foster, we are prepared to offer you complete authority over gate network operations. Name your price. The galaxy needs your expertise. Ryan deleted the message. He had given them his expertise for free for years, and they had treated it like worthless garbage. Now they wanted to buy what they had thrown away, but it was too late. Back on Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council met in emergency session every day. The great hall that had once been filled with confident alien voices was now echoing with panic and desperation. Council Chairman Veltar read report after report of failing systems, collapsing economies, and growing chaos. The situation is beyond critical, he announced. We are facing the complete breakdown of galactic civilization. Transportation networks are failing. Industrial production has dropped by 70%. Agricultural output is insufficient to feed the population. Medical supplies are running out. The Etherian representative pulsed with dim, worried light. Perhaps we should reconsider our position regarding the humans. Maybe we could invite them back to the council with better terms. The Vorthic delegate slammed his tentacles on his desk. Never. We do not negotiate with terrorists. The humans are trying to blackmail us into submission. They are not trying to blackmail us, said the Trilaxian speaker quietly. They are not trying to do anything to us. They are simply gone. They are living their lives without us, and we are discovering that we cannot live without them. The Corellian trade representative stood up. My people have been monitoring human space. Their economy is growing. Their technology is advancing. Their colonies are expanding. They are not suffering from this crisis. We are. How is that possible? Demanded the Vorthic delegate. They need galactic trade to survive. They need our resources and our markets. The Corellian pulled up a holographic display. Look at these numbers. Human space is completely self-sufficient. They produce everything they need. They have their own trade routes, their own manufacturing, their own agricultural systems. They built a separate civilization inside our galaxy. And we never noticed. The truth was becoming clear to everyone in the chamber. The humans had not been dependent on galactic civilization. Galactic civilization had been dependent on them. For 30 years, human efficiency, innovation, and expertise had been holding the galaxy together. Without humans, the ancient alien, empires were revealing themselves to be hollow shells. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. It was easy to take someone for granted when they were always there to help. It was impossible to replace them when they were gone, and the humans showed. No signs of coming back. 1 year after the humans left, the galaxy was in complete chaos. Council Chairman Veltar sat in his office on Nexus Prime, staring at reports that painted a picture of total collapse. Entire sectors had gone dark. Whole civilizations were struggling. to survive. The proud alien empires that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years were begging for help. The emergency session bell rang through the station. Veltar made his way to the Great Hall, where the remaining council members waited. Many seats were empty now. Some species had withdrawn from the council to focus on their own survival. Others had simply stopped coming because they had no ships. That could make the journey. "The situation on Vorthik Prime is critical," announced the Vorthik representative, his voice shaking with fear. "Our main power grid failed yesterday. The backup systems that were supposed to activate did not work. Our capital city is without power. Millions of our people are in danger." Veltar knew the truth behind the crisis. The Vorthik backup power systems had been designed by a human engineer named Frank Martinez. Frank had warned them repeatedly that the systems needed special maintenance every 6 months. The Vorthik had ignored his warnings, claiming their own technicians could handle simple maintenance. Now their homeworld was dying in the dark. Ambassador Kate Williams received another desperate message in her office on Earth. This time it was from the Zelani Consortium, the same trade organization that had blocked human merchant ships from profitable routes for decades. The message was from Trade Master Zizan, who had personally voted against every human trade proposal. "Ambassador Williams," the message began, "the Zelani Consortium formally requests the immediate return of human merchants to our space. We are prepared to offer exclusive trading rights in Sectors 7 through 12. We will pay premium rates for all human goods and services." Kate deleted the message without reading the rest. She had heard similar offers from dozens of alien governments. They all wanted human help now. They all offered amazing deals now. They all claimed they had made mistakes and wanted to make things right. But Kate remembered the years of humiliation. She remembered watching human colonists forced to abandon their homes. She remembered seeing human children cry as they were relocated from worlds they had been born on. She remembered the alien laughter when humans asked for basic fairness. Offers were too little, too late. On Lunabase, Commander Rachel Torres monitored communications from across the galaxy. Her job was to track alien attempts to steal human technology or infiltrate human space. What she saw amazed her. The same alien species that had called humans primitive were now desperately trying to copy human designs. "Commander," her intelligence officer reported, "the Etherians have been attempting to reverse engineer our quantum gate technology. They have been at it for 6 months. Their best scientists are working on it. They have made no progress." Rachel pulled up the surveillance footage from Etherian space. She could see their crystal-based computers trying to process human mathematical equations. She could see their engineers staring at human blueprints with confusion. She could see their frustration growing as every attempt failed. "What about the Trilaxians?" she asked. "Similar story. They captured one of our old mining platforms that was left behind. They have been trying to figure out how it works. They managed to turn it on once, but it exploded and destroyed their research station." Rachel smiled grimly. Human technology was not just advanced. It was integrated in ways that other species could not understand. Every human system was designed to work with every other human system. Remove the humans, and the technology became useless. The crisis reached a breaking point when the Corellian merchant fleet experienced complete system failure. The pragmatic Corellians had been the most reasonable of the alien species, but they had still voted against human interests when it mattered. Now their entire economy was collapsing. Fleet Admiral Corix sent a direct message to Earth, bypassing the failed Galactic Council entirely. "President Henderson, the Corellian Republic formally apologizes for our past treatment of humanity. We were wrong. We need your help. Our people are dying." President Lara Henderson read the message in her office in New Geneva. Through her window, she could see the bustling streets of Earth's new capital city. Humans were building, creating, and thriving. The human economy was stronger than it had ever been. Human technology was advancing at an incredible rate. Human colonies were expanding into new systems, not all without alien permission or alien help. "Madam President," her aide said, "we have received similar messages from 47 alien governments. They are all asking for immediate assistance. Some are offering to surrender complete control of their space to human authority." Lara shook her head. "We are not interested in controlling their space. We are interested in being left alone to build our own civilization." The most desperate plea came from an unexpected source. The Etherian Collective, which had always claimed to be the most advanced species in the galaxy, sent a message that shocked everyone who heard it. To the humans of Earth, the message began: "We, the Etherian Collective, acknowledge our error. We believed ourselves superior to your species. We believed your contributions to galactic civilization were minimal. We have learned that we were catastrophically wrong. Without your hidden support, our civilization is crumbling. We beg you to reconsider your withdrawal. We will accept any terms you propose." The message was broadcast across human space. People gathered in cities, on space stations, and in colony settlements to hear the proud Etherians beg for human help. Many humans felt satisfaction at hearing their former oppressors admit defeat. Others felt pity for the suffering that was spreading across the galaxy, but the government's position remained unchanged. Humanity would not return to the galaxy as junior partners. They would not accept scraps from the alien table. They would not pretend that the past 30 years of mistreatment had never happened. General Patricia Lewis stood in the command center of the Human Defense Network, watching alien ships approach the borders of human space. Most were refugees, fleeing the chaos in their home systems. Some were military vessels from desperate governments. A few were research ships trying to spy on human technology. "General," her tactical officer reported, "the Vorthic Third Fleet is requesting permission to enter human space. They claim they need emergency repairs and medical assistance." Patricia remembered the Vorthic fleet that had forced human colonists off the mineral-rich world of Kepler 186F just 2 years ago. The same fleet that had destroyed human settlements and called it law enforcement. "Denied," she said. "Redirect them to the nearest non-human system." "But General, their ships are in critical condition. Some of their crew are dying." Patricia's expression did not change. "Not our problem. They have the entire galaxy to ask for help. They chose to exclude us from that galaxy. Now they can live with the consequences." As the Vorthic ships limped away from human space, Patricia felt no satisfaction. She felt no joy at alien suffering. She felt only the cold certainty that humanity would never again be dependent on alien mercy. The galaxy had taught humans a valuable lesson. It had shown them that they could not trust alien promises. It had demonstrated that alien friendship was conditional on human usefulness. It had proven that humans were stronger alone than they had ever been as junior partners in galactic civilization. The aliens were learning their own lesson. They were discovering that some mistakes could not be undone. Some relationships could not be repaired. Some opportunities, once lost, were gone forever. The galaxy was spiraling into panic, and humanity was watching it happen with the calm certainty of a species that had finally learned its own worth. 18 months after the Great Withdrawal, the galaxy had found a new balance. It was not the balance anyone had expected. The old Galactic Council was gone. The great alien empires were shadows of their former selves. And humanity had become something no one had imagined possible. President Laura Henderson stood before the United Nations Assembly in New Geneva. Behind her, a massive screen showed the current state of human space. Green dots marked thriving human colonies. Blue lines showed busy trade routes between human worlds. Yellow indicators displayed the locations of new human settlements expanding into unexplored systems. Fellow citizens of Earth and all human worlds, she began, today marks a new chapter in human history. For too long, we sought acceptance from those who would never truly accept us. We begged for scraps from those who had plenty. We asked for permission to be ourselves from those who did not understand what we were capable of becoming. The assembly hall was filled with representatives from every human world. Colony governors, ship captains, scientists, engineers, farmers, and miners. All the people who had built human civilization while the galaxy looked the other way. Today, I announce the Human Commonwealth Doctrine. We will engage with alien species, but only as equals. We will trade with those who respect us. We will share knowledge with those who share theirs. We will defend ourselves against any who threaten us. But we will never again beg for acceptance from anyone. The first test of the new doctrine came 3 days later. Trade Director Steve Campbell received a message from the Corellian Merchant Republic. Unlike the desperate pleas of other alien governments, this message was different. Director Campbell, the message began, we are Ambassador Krill of the Corellian Republic. We do not ask for charity. We do not beg for forgiveness. We offer a proposal between equals. Our people need the goods your people produce. Your people need the rare materials our worlds contain. Let us discuss terms that benefit both our species. Steve studied the proposal carefully. The Corellians offered fair prices for human products. They provided equal access to their trade routes. They promised to treat human merchants with the same respect they showed their own people. Most importantly, they acknowledged that humans were partners, not servants. Set up a meeting, Steve told his assistant. Let us see if they mean what they say. The meeting took place on a neutral space station in the border region between human and Corellian space. Steve arrived with a small delegation of human trade experts. The Corellians came with their own team, led by Ambassador Krill himself. Negotiations lasted 3 days. The Corellians did not try to dictate terms. They did not insist on special privileges. They did not treat humans as junior partners. Instead, they negotiated as equals seeking mutual benefit. When the agreement was signed, it marked the first truly equal partnership between humans and any alien species. Within weeks, human-Corellian trade was flowing smoothly. Human goods appeared. In Corellian markets, Corellian materials reached human factories. Both species prospered. Other alien governments watched nervously as human Corellian commerce flourished while their own economies continued to collapse. The Trilaxian Colonial Authority sent a message asking if they could join the trade agreement. Steve's response was simple. Negotiate your own agreement on equal terms. General Patricia Lewis oversaw the expansion of the Human Defense Network. From her command center on Titan, the network now included hundreds of automated, defensive platforms surrounding human space. Advanced sensor arrays monitored every approach route. Fast attack ships patrolled the borders. General, her communications officer reported, we are detecting a large fleet approaching from Vorthic space. It appears to be a diplomatic convoy, not a military force. Patricia studied the sensor readings. 50 Vorthic ships approached human space under flags of truce. Their weapons were powered down. Their shields were lowered. They were broadcasting surrender codes. This is General Lewis to the Vorthic convoy. State your intentions. The reply came from the lead ship. General Lewis, this is Fleet Admiral Zex High of the Vorthic Hegemony. We request permission to enter human space for diplomatic talks. We come seeking partnership, not conquest. Patricia smiled grimly. The Vorthic Hegemony had been the most arrogant of the alien empires. They had forced humans off dozens of worlds. They had destroyed human settlements. They had laughed at human requests for fair treatment. Admiral Zex-High, you may approach. Luna Station with one ship only. The rest of your fleet will remain outside human space until talks are concluded. The diplomatic meeting took place in the same room where Jake Morrison had once prepared for Galactic Council sessions. But this time, humans sat on one side of the table as equals. The Vorthic delegation sat across from them as petitioners. Jake Morrison, now serving as Earth's Galactic Relations Coordinator, faced Admiral Zex-High across the polished table. The same alien who had once dismissed human concerns now spoke with careful respect. Coordinator Morrison, the Admiral began, the Vorthic hegemony acknowledges our past errors in judgment. We underestimated human capabilities. We failed to recognize human contributions to galactic civilization. We seek to correct these mistakes. Jake listened without expression. What exactly are you proposing, Admiral? We offer a formal alliance between our species. The hegemony will provide military protection for human worlds. In exchange, we ask for human technical assistance in rebuilding our infrastructure. Jake shook his head. Admiral, you misunderstand the situation. We do not need your military protection. Our own defenses are more than adequate. We do not need your alliance. We have already proven we can thrive without galactic support. The Admiral's tentacles writhed with frustration. Then what do you want from us? We want you to leave us alone, Jake replied calmly. We want you to respect our borders. We want you to treat any humans in your space with dignity and fairness. If you can do those things, we might consider limited trade agreements. But we will never again be your subjects or your servants. Over the following months, more alien governments approached humanity with similar requests. Some, like the Corellians, came seeking genuine partnership. Others came trying to manipulate humans back into their old subservient role. A few came with barely disguised threats. All received the same message. Humanity was no longer playing by the old rules. Dr. Emma Rodriguez, now working for the Human Economic Council, published a report that shocked the remaining galactic governments. The report showed that human space had become completely self-sufficient. Human colonies produced more food than they could consume. Human factories manufactured everything they needed. Human ships carried goods between human worlds without ever entering alien space. Most surprisingly, human technology had advanced far beyond anything the aliens possessed. Free from the restrictions of galactic law, human scientists had developed new propulsion systems, new energy sources, and new manufacturing techniques. The species that aliens had considered primitive was now the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. The final scene of humanity's transformation took place on Nexus, prime station where the old Galactic Council had once met. The Great Hall was nearly empty now. Only a few alien representatives remained, trying desperately to hold together the remnants of galactic civilization. A human ship appeared outside the station. It was not there to rejoin the Council. It was there to establish a human trade post. In neutral space, the message was clear. Humans no longer needed permission to operate in the galaxy. They would go where they chose, when they chose, for their own purposes. Veltar, the former council chairman, watched the human ship dock with the station. He remembered Jake Morrison's final words 18 months ago. We forgot that we do not need your permission to be great. Now the galaxy was learning what greatness looked like when it was free to flourish. Human ships moved through space with confidence. Human colonies expanded into new systems. Human traders negotiated from positions of strength. The age of human deference was over. The age of human leadership had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.